premise of this year's video is pretty cut and dry. I gathered 12 of my closest friends and gave them all one simple task: to recommend me a game. You see, my friends recommend me new games all the time, and sure, I've played through a lot of their recommendations, but I've probably put off just as many. Don't act like you don't do the same. How many times has a friend told you about a game, or a show, or a movie that will literally change your entire life, and you just hit them with the classic, "Oh yeah dude, that sounds cool, I'll add it to the list"? What fucking list, you asshole? Don't you lie to me. So it's time to make a change, which is why the idea today is to play through exactly 2 hours of each game my friends recommend. That means that they can finally get me on their hyperfixations, show off some neat little hidden gems, or force me to play the most diabolical bullshit for 2 hours straight. Couple of quick rules: no games that YouTube would ban me over, the game that they recommend can be up to $30 in price, and if it's a game that I can finish in under 2 hours, then the timer stops when I hit credits instead. Now, it's time to find out exactly what I've been missing out on all this time. I'll try my best to keep a somewhat open mind when I play through these, but my friends did sign a waiver that lets me shit all over their taste in games, so let's jump right in with... For the most part, I'll be spinning a wheel to randomize the order of whose game I play, but it only felt right to start things off with the person who gave me the idea for this video in the first place, that being Alice. Just kidding, Alice. Fuck you, I'm spinning the wheel anyway. Oh. Alright, fine. To kick us off, we have Alice's game, Noise. If you've never heard of this game, that stands to reason, as it has less than 100 reviews on Steam. A lot of the games you'll see throughout this video are pretty damn niche, but I think that makes it more interesting. That way, I don't know what to expect from a lot of them. Now, we do have a word from the sponsor of this game, as Alice has left a Steam review to help set the stage. Alice gives praise to the game's compelling story and fun gameplay, and the expectations have just skyrocketed. I am now expecting the world from this game. Booting it up, I am greeted to the most generic looking sci-fi anime characters you could possibly whip up in under 30 minutes. They look ripped out from that one website where you guess anime openings. This is someone's profile picture, and that frankly terrifies me. You know what I'm not greeted by on this title screen though? The namesake of the game in question. I gotta say, for a game titled Noise, distinct lack of any of that on the menu screen. There's no music, there's no sound effects yet. Where's the music? Is there supposed to be the noise yet? The title is not kicked in, I'm not getting the game yet. But we press onward, and the timer for my first game of the video is officially running. In Noise, you play as equally generic anime protag loser guy who spends his time as a gamer gaming it up in an arcade alone. He spouts some cryptic bullshit to himself, considers going home to do something with his life before realizing, well, he's got better things to do, like gaming. Guys, it's 2025 and anime adjacent media still thinks this is what all gamers smell like. He steps outside to get blasted by the toxicness of fresh air, and in doing so, I am exposed to this game's poor excuse for an art style. Got kicked out. Well, what the... Wait a minute, this is just a picture of a place pixelated, what the fuck? Anyway, I'm very abruptly jump scared by John Tutorial, who's here to show us the fun gameplay Alice described. Okay. I'm pressing shoot. Did I already misread the controls? And there it is. Between there being no sound effects, no music, and now the tutorial literally just breaking on me, I finally came to the conclusion that Noise was simply not working as intended. One quick reset later, and I finally get to understand the symbolism behind the name Noise. Oh, there we go, see? Oh my goodness, that is loud. Okay, I see why it's called Noise now, I get the name. Can we turn... Oh my goodness. And then it just cuts out completely, that's really funny. So when it actually decides to work properly, Noise is a hybrid of the bullet hell and rhythm game genre. Enemies shoot 2 types of projectiles here, blue and red. Blue projectiles can be phased through with an invincibility skill that will last a couple of seconds, while red bullets deal damage no matter what, which I think is an interesting concept. It gives a little extra level of interactivity to the classic bullet hell formula. Now, the rhythm aspect comes into play in the form of very aggressive dubstep. You can't just shoot back at the enemies all willy-nilly, you actually have to time it to the beat of the music. But yeah, that's Noise's gameplay in a nutshell. The tutorial does a great job of getting you accustomed to it, so props for that. Back to story stuff. Anime girl appears, explains what the fuck just happened, kinda. You're being noisy. That's the name of the game, holy shit. What even is this power you gave me? The Noise. That's the guy from Pizza Tower. Come next morning and I'm kicking it in the Pixel City before I get jump scared by a wolf this time. This is the first real fight of the game, and one thing that definitely took me a bit of practice to get used to is the blue invulnerability mechanic. Just as with your attack, you need to sync the trigger for the skill to the beat of the music, so you still have to position yourself well enough for it to actually work. It's not quite the free win button I was expecting it to be, which I'm glad about. Naturally, for this being the first real boss of the game, this was a walk in the park, with my biggest hurdle still just being that I'm not the most musically inclined person out there. After defeating the wolf thing, it turns into an anime girl because of course it does. The main character calls her a dog girl, she fights back being like, actually, I'm a wolf. This isn't funny the first time, and it sure as hell isn't 17 times later. We go to a swimming pool. Bird. Noise has an incredibly inconsistent art style. The main characters are drawn in that typical anime style, the backgrounds are just these pitiful, out-of-place pixelated photos, and the bosses themselves are just a bizarre mishmash of static, clip art PNGs. Now, obviously this game was made on a budget less than the price of the game itself, that being 30 AUD, what?! Sorry, I only just now checked the price of this game while writing the script since I'm in Alice's Steam library and I just got it for free. So this game is double the price of Undertale. It's $7 more expensive than Hollow Knight and on par with the price of Cuphead, which both of those games have immaculate art styles handcrafted by a team of professionals where every frame could be a painting. I could draw this bird, dude! Look, here's my attempted recreation of this thing! They had the seagull to charge $30 for this game? I thought it was like a $6 bargain bin game with a cult following. This is genuinely such a shocking revelation to me that my opinion of Noise has drastically changed in retrospect. Everything I excuse the game for with the mindset that this was probably made by like one guy and sold for dirt cheap is completely null and void now. Putting this newfound knowledge aside for the moment, the fight with said bird was another piece of cake. Its bullets spread wide and it has the same laser attack that pretty much every boss in this game has. Also, just as with this game's art style, the music varies a fair bit between bosses as well. For instance, this silly looking bird with no characterization naturally has a vocal track because, I mean, look how climactic the fight with the menacing thumbs down bird is. I defeat the bird in a perfect no-hit run because the fight was pathetically easy. But, you know, it's only the second boss fight, so let's cut it some slack here. It metamorphosizes into a different art style, and I have the option to either give it a thumbs up or roast it. Okay. Well, considering Noise clearly has a very complex decision-making system, yeah, graphic design is my passion. I wanted to avoid the genocide route where we cook this bird alive, so I naturally give it a thumbs up and moved on. The plot progression in Noise is very repetitive. You kill a boss, go to a new location, and another one just spawns out of nowhere. Rinse and repeat. I'd explain what's happening in the story right now, if I cared at all, and that's just another huge issue with Noise. I know this game isn't technically a shoot 'em up, but you know what I love the most about that genre? How airtight the design is. There's no fluff surrounding it, it's just back-to-back stages and boss fights for a couple of hours. Even general bullet hell games like Cuphead or Enter the Gungeon keep you moving along at a brisk pace, and the stuff in between the actual gameplay is charming and non-intrusive. In Noise, you spend a couple of minutes in between each fight listening to the dribble these one-dimensional characters spew at you with the least compelling dialogue you could possibly muster up. If you're going to even bother breaking up the core gameplay like this, you need to have a good reason to do so. As it stands, Noise failed to keep my attention in this regard past the 10-minute mark. Metal Wolf is the next fight, and this one was admittedly a lot of fun. I like the music, and the level of difficulty on this one felt just right. More of this, and we might actually have a game worth a fifth of what it's charging. I'm then thrown into the longest story segment thus far. I wasn't at the point of skipping dialogue just yet, but all I could really see were words strung together. None of it had any meaning to me anymore. It's like reading a few pages of a book and then realizing you aren't actually absorbing any of that information, except that's the entirety of this game so far. The next fight mixes things up with an upside-down survival section, and honestly, it's such a minute thing, but it was giving me hope for something more. The gameplay had been fun so far, but so many of these bosses have such similar attacks that I was worried it would start to get stale very fast. But hey, here the game was throwing me a curveball. Although, this boss does highlight something else for me. The music in this game is fine. Good sometimes even. And I know music is probably the most subjective of all media forms, but with this being a rhythm game and with music being such a core part of its, well, everything, and in my opinion the music just isn't good enough to really warrant building the whole game's identity around it. Like, there wasn't a single track that stuck in my mind, excluding this one song that I was humming along to, so, you know, maybe the game gets $1 extra worth of value for that. By the next story segment, I'm officially past the point of caring, and this game is starting to lose me. So being the comedian that I am, I click the funny option here just to feel something. And to my surprise, it actually brings me to a completely optional fight. And listen, every fight thus far has been okay, if not far too simple. But this fight right here, this is what a bullet hell should look like. You only get 1 health here, unlike all previous bosses. This very clearly isn't a fight most casual players are intended to go through with. I mean, if you lose, it gives you the option to progress the story normally. And on my first try, I didn't even make it 5 seconds in. My second attempt though? Well, I still didn't make it very far. But my third attempt, I died straight away. The difficulty spike for this fight compared to the last is steep as hell, and I know I'm not supposed to be doing this at this point in the story. Despite that, I tried again anyway, and only on my 4th go at it, I've already reached phase 2. I mean, I still got wiped, but I made good progress. And just like that, a very dangerous thought enters my head. The thought that I can totally beat this. I feel as though I have a pretty good understanding of my limit when it comes to these types of challenges. If I can tell something is way above my pay grade in terms of difficulty, I can pretty effortlessly just move on from it. But if something feels even slightly within my skill range, a challenge where victory seems attainable if I bash my head into the wall enough times, then I can't just turn tail and give up. The 2 examples fresh in my mind are the Lost Kin fight from Hollow Knight and the Chromatic Abyss from Expedition 33. Both fights that can be accessed pretty early on in your respective adventure, but ones that are very clearly intended to be revisited when you're better equipped for them. These bosses, especially Lost Kin, seemed like insurmountable juggernauts to my early game self. And yet, I ended up surpassing these challenges. This weird ass furry thing? This was nothing compared to those. I can totally beat this. Do I just wait this? Okay. Oh my god. Ah! That one doesn't count. This is the furthest we've ever made it. I gotta lock the fuck in. I need this short part to be over so I can actually start doing some damage. What? Oh my god, it just keeps going! Oh, I wasn't trying to go that far. Oh my. This attack is so stupid. Oh, only took what, 40, 50 minutes? Yeah. That feels good though. 45 minutes later, and it's finally over. Well, not my time with Noise. I still have 25 minutes to go with this shit. I know this is easy to say in retrospect, but this boss actually was not difficult in the slightest. I played it up a lot because I spent nearly an hour on what should have been a 10-minute endeavor. I swear to you, I would have beaten this thing in half my actual time if it was actually well telegraphed. See, it kept pulling up these shields in phases 1 and 4, and like, I've never seen these things before. Up till now, there's never been an attack that I couldn't just dodge or phase through. So when I'm presented with these shields, my gut instinct is, oh, this boss is about to hit me with something unavoidable, I have to get behind these shields. And you need to deplete their health in each phase or you lose. So then, what the fuck is the point with these things other than to just misguide me? You can evade all attacks outside the shields just fine. Ugh. Fun boss, stupid game design. Honestly, there's not much more to say about my remaining time with this game. I fight this disgusting abomination to some YouTube poop-ass music. What the fuck is this? There's a pretty fun fight against a horse, and I spend my last 5 minutes attempting another optional boss fight that is actually above my current skill level, so I do not persist it much further than this. And with that, my 2 hours of Noise is complete. With the finish line passed, I want to go over my closing thoughts for Noise, as I will for most of the games in this video. These won't necessarily be my definitive opinions on each respective game, more so my initial impression and current standings, given many of these games have a lot more to offer past the 2-hour mark. Noise is perhaps one of the most mixed bags of a game I've played throughout the whole year. The gameplay is fun enough, though it pales in comparison to practically all other games I've played in a similar genre. It's certainly unique in concept, and it executes the idea of a rhythm-based bullet hell pretty soundly, but I don't know if it's enough to really push the game over the line of just alright, especially when nearly every other aspect of Noise outside of the core gameplay bogs it down and drags it through the mud till you can no longer even recognize it for its cool idea past all the shit that it's buried underneath. Awful art direction, middling soundtrack, although music is very subjective so that's just me, mindless dialogue across an uninteresting narrative that ruins the pacing, and the fact that it's all at the asinine cost of $30 fucking dollars. It's a lot to stomach just to reach an unremarkable gameplay loop. Obviously, if this was a comprehensive review of Noise, I'd say it sucks ass, plain and simple. But that's not necessarily what this video is about. After all, I didn't experience the full thing. The 2 hours is more so just to give me a good enough bite into the full pie. And to be fair to Noise, the difficulty of the last few bosses was really starting to hit that sweet spot for me. Feels like if I kept going, I might have actually started to really enjoy the game little by little. So instead of giving a definitive score for each game, or some tier list for the whole lot of them, since my mileage on each game will vary a lot depending on the complexity of them. I'll just be deciding whether I'd be interested in continuing these games past the 2-hour mark, or if I'll just be dropping them altogether. And you know what? Despite all its flaws, I could see myself potentially pushing through to the credits one day in the future, just to have another game in my year in review if nothing else. Alice says you can beat Noise in about 5 hours, and I've played 5 hours of way worse, so sure, I reckon I could play through the whole game one day if I'm ever bored enough. From here on out, I'll be going through the remaining games by spinning a wheel to decide whose game is up next, and we're going right over to my rival in everything other than Mario Party, Samsung in the Shower. Shower for short, the for shorter. Now, compared to your average gamer, Shower has some deep ass pockets when it comes to the list of games he's played. I swear, he's on something new every other week. While everyone else is playing Repo or Deltarune, Sam is playing Prinny 2, Dawn of Operation Panties Dude. So basically, I could be in for just about anything here. If I had to guess anything from Sam, it'd probably be a game from a certain developer that he follows religiously. I hopped in a call with the man himself, and sure enough...
And I decided, ultimately, I'm gonna go with COD NCL. Yeah, it's a roguelike RPG that plays a lot like Mega Man Battle Network, and it features a lot of Inti Creators IPs, which is a company that I always play their games for, and I always fall in love with their games. They're just so good.
Now, who is Inti Creates? Why, they are the world-renowned dev team behind critically acclaimed classics such as Speed Power Gunbike, and Mighty Number 9, and fucking Galgun. You know, that one game where you shoot high school girls with your pheromone arrows so they receive euphoria. We're in good hands here, guys, don't worry.
Card on CL.
Demo version. Because this game was over the $30 limit. Battle chat only. It sounds funny to have the voices on, just like Xenoblade style. Every time someone hits something, it's just like, that'll show him a thing or three, whatever he says. I haven't even gotten to the game yet, and I'm already failing miserably at reading. Jumping into COD NCL demo version, while this may be a completely different game to Noise, we are thrown straight back into that classic anime bullshit. Oh my goodness. She has such a huge... eyes. Here's my character, but this isn't loser shit his pants McGee. This guy is cool spiky black hair protagonist, otherwise known as the gaming chair detective. The gaming chair detective? What? Mods are anomalies. Weapons from this game's world don't work against them. I have to use the Express SD card for the Nintendo Switch 2. Been a while since I had to go all out. Alright. Sorry, been a while since I had to go all out. Fucking typing away my keyboard. Shut up, he's just turned on the RGB lights. No, you know, I'm serious because I got the gamer lights on. Time to get into the meat of the game. COD NCL is a roguelike deck builder. Sam draws a comparison to Mega Man Battle Network, but personally, I hear roguelike deck builder and I'm just expecting Balatro. Alright, so to explain the gameplay of COD NCL in Balatro terms, each round you're given a deck of cards to work with. Instead of the 3 of spades, you get Sexy Demon and John Anime. See that dragon? That's the plant. In these grid-based battles, positioning is everything. Enemy attacks are telegraphed. You see where and when they will attack. You need to be within line of sight to wail on these bitches, but you also want to be out of the way when they're about to shoot their shit so you can avoid taking damage. Take this card for example. Pressing left click. I might have to study up on my lefts and rights, hold on a second. You can play your John Anime cards to use their respective abilities, or you can discard them to move in their corresponding direction. Each card has a skill point cost, and each turn you're allocated 3 skill points to start with. Kill the enemy before they kill you. See, just like Balatro. What do I pick, guys? Me or me? Or me? I'm number 1, right? So true. I thought they were gonna make sounds and shit. Is it just text? That's lame. Oh no, don't mute voices. Oh, I was turning on mute voices. Am I fucking stupid?
Take this!
Take this! Oh shit.
To avoid the next attack.
Oh, thank you.
Again. I can't protect anyone.
Who the fuck is that?
Eat this!
Eat this! And then we'll move up.
Let's make sure
What
to
the fuck
avoid
was
the
that?
next
Why did you go? Shut up, I'm trying!
Are you okay, Neon?
Your timer was at
happening again.
1, was it?
I can't
Maybe I
protect
can't read. What's
anyone.
happening? Now, the story of this game, well, I cared even less about it than with Noise. The moment I heard my character's name was Gaming Chair Detective, I realized this is not the sort of story you're supposed to pay attention to. It was written by an AI forced to watch Isekai Slop. It's basically Ready Player One, where everyone lives in the game world instead of real life, and games are leaking into one another Wreck-It Ralph style. I'm anime guy, so naturally I have to save the world from video game Satan or something, I don't know. Each card has a I can't, that's rough. Well, let's go down first, so I can't go down! I can't, what was the point of this? Unspecial attack. No, I don't want to.
Let's use a
I can't, he's not in my range.
Let's use
You bitch, it's not gonna do anything.
Let's
He's not in my range!
let's
Oh my,
come on. Let's clean it up. Hail Mystery Fun!
oh, okay, it doesn't matter.
There's rumors that the trees from each entry are all connected too.
That would make for a big plot twist. That would make for a big plot twist. That would make for a big plot twist.
How many times is she gonna say that?
That would make for a big. That would make.
That would make for a
Let's keep this
big
momentum
plot. Oh, okay,
going.
she's done. Outside of battles, you traverse a really boring dungeon. Like, seriously, tell me this isn't the most visually uninteresting level design you've ever seen. You run into Persona Shadows to initiate fights with robots and obese businessmen. The Balatro comparisons are really starting to crumble here. At the end of most battles, you get to add a new card to your deck a la Balatro booster packs. Never mind, we're so back! There are also special events that let you enhance cards or do a little deck fixing to avoid bloating your deck with basic ass fluff cards. Tarot packs, yeah! Oh, it's -1 cost per tile move this turn. Wait, okay. Can we just go up and down? We can. Oh, oh. He baited me with that. He knew I was gonna do it. Oh, that's fine. Alright, we'll finish it with this and we'll just... Well, shit. We may as well just finish it with these. And then we'll go down.
How did I miss?
Hit him with that. Oh, we hit him with that. Oh, he's broken again, dude. He sucks. Then we hit him with the 20 damage. Dude, we're killing it right now. Oh my god.
Take this.
Oh my goodness.
I'm number one.
Get with that. Dude! We cannot stop winning. May as well fucking demolish this guy. Never mind. Demolish this guy. Never mind. Why can't I break it? There we go. Dungeon results. Oh, that was the full dungeon. Now, the rate at which new gameplay mechanics were being thrown at me felt pretty natural. You know, for the first 6 or so tutorial battles, I felt like I was really picking up everything the game was putting down. I mean, obviously this stuff just comes naturally to a Balatro professional such as myself. So thankfully, there's a couple more mechanics to help keep me on my toes. For instance, Break is an effect that negates enemy attack power, but you can also use it to lower their balance meter, which stuns them when it hits 0. You can summon the power of VTubers to debuff enemies, but if an enemy uses them against you, it applies a really specific debuff on you, like discarding your leftmost card, which forges a number of rush cards. If you use a card's final smash, it shits itself and becomes useless, like Deku at the start of My Hero when he was breaking his bones from sneezing. Using a card's special skill with red special skill energy will cause it to become fractured, rendering it unusable. A card that has been fractured cannot be returned to normal. I see. Wait, no, I don't see. I completely, in one ear, out the other. I did not register any of that. This guy adds a virus card to your hand, which are just annoying and can maybe hurt you, I don't know. You can summon pets onto the battlefield, which do something, and also block spaces on your side of the board, giving you less room to work with. Wait, I'm trapped here. I've got too many guys on the field, they block me in. There's also yellow cards, which give you a penalty in soccer, but in this game, a yellow card means your card is now yellow. What? Okay, apparently you can use yellow cards to avoid enemy attacks, but only sometimes, under really specific conditions. There's some tower defense bullshit where you can plant one of your cards in a liberated zone, which makes you stronger for the next battle. There's a card that provides an additional 0.2 times malt every time a hand that is not one of the player's most played hands is played. Nope, never mind, that's the wrong game. Okay, to be perfectly honest, I'm way over exaggerating the complexity of this game. Sure, all of this will probably go over the head of your casual Balatro player who still hasn't figured out that the order of your jokers matter, but you also don't need a damn degree to understand how to play card NCL well. The issue is, I just wasn't willing to put in the effort to learn this game. I know that's kind of the whole point of this video. I'm supposed to be giving these games a fair shot and devoting my full, undivided attention to them for 2 hours. And I swear, I actually was trying to play this game optimally to begin with, but after a certain point, I just started tuning all these tutorials out. Like, I would read them, think, yeah, I get the gist of it, and then just brute force every fight going off the spark notes that I skim. And like, it worked. I'm sure this game does eventually pick up difficulty, but I was able to spam cards with little thought and it was getting me by just fine. Even with my abundance of critical reading failures, I was still chugging along fairly smoothly. So why even bother trying to dig any deeper than the surface level of card NCL's mechanics? Because to be honest, in the moment, I could already tell this wasn't my sort of game. Out of every game in this lineup, this is by far the least memorable of the lot, for better and worse. I'm genuinely struggling to write the script for this section purely because Card NCL left no impression on me. There's not much terribly wrong with this game from the limited time I gave it, it's just obviously for a very specific niche audience. That audience just being Sam. For me personally, as a not Sam, Card NCL didn't do anything to hold my attention. The music, story, art style and visuals, voice acting, really everything outside of the core gameplay was painfully unremarkable. And for the gameplay itself, well, I already conceded this just wasn't my jam about 30 minutes in. Is it too early to give my verdict on Card NCL? Yes, but this part of the script is killing me to get through, so it's safe to say that this is a game I have no desire to continue past the 2-hour mark. Obviously, the 2 hours is non-negotiable, so of course I will still be getting through it, especially considering that Sam mentioned this demo could be completed in the 2-hour time frame, so if nothing else, I was committed to beating the demo before time ran out. So you know what, we're changing the gimmick of this segment. I already know my opinion on Card NCL, now the only question is, can my illiterate ass beat the demo in just 2 hours? Move forward. You changed it! You were doing those two! And then you're about to attack, so we need to move. Except we can't move, they all go up. Let's just tank it. You're about to attack us, so let's do 22 damage. Oh, that just kills you. That's fine. You! What?
Human periods are assigned to close shop early.
I thought you said human periods. What? ProZD, why did you say that? I meant to railgun.
Misinput comp!
There we go. An action. Actions, yeah. If an enemy's counter range is at 1, trigger an action phase. I don't know if I did it. We can kill you. Alright. Hold on. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh no. Oh no. Well shit. Oh, we have to do the whole dungeon again. No. No. No! Oh, we got 10 minutes left. Holy shit, we gotta get moving. Alright, we're rushing it to the final boss. Alright, 101, that's nothing actually. We can totally win this. Let's move up just to be safe. Yep. Yeah, dude. Oh, you dick! You blocked me in! I'm blocked in again. None of these cards can get me out. Are you kidding me? I'm just gonna die. I can't do anything. Can I banish you? Hold on. If we go all out... Wait, no, hold on. I can break you with this. I didn't realize we had 3 points. We're not dead yet. What? Oh, okay, but he does 0 damage now. Hold on, we're still fine. And this card is banished. Oh, but if we... Oh, yes! Alright. And then we... Yes! Yes! And then damage? He's got 1 health. And then we just... Dude, go all out. Kill this guy! Holy shit. Did I beat the fucking demo at the buzzer? Honestly, Sungwon came in so clutch. Is that...
Yep, her name's Sakuya. She's a virtual idol who performs on the net.
An idol? That's amazing!
Makes sense too. She's more than confident in her own cuteness.
Moving on from that blur of a memory, it's time to once again consult the wheel as to whose game I'll be playing next. Sweet, we got Caitlin. You guys know Caitlin, right? Twitch streamer, primarily voice actor, she was Lizzie in Murder Drones. Yeah, I get to put that in the tags of the video now. Shoutouts to Caitlin. Caitlin is one of those people who has a new game hyperfixation about every month, so I was pretty interested to see what I was going to get from her. I asked Caitlin for her game, and someone whose name is not Caitlin gave me Caitlin's game instead. They're gonna have to update the IMDb page now. Pseudo Regalia is a 3D platformer, which officially puts us on a streak of having each game thus far be a completely different genre from one another, which I think is really cool. Keeps things feeling fresh. But that's only half the story with Pseudo Regalia, as its other primary genre is Metroidvania. Ah, shit. Okay, Metroidvania isn't at all a genre I dislike. It's not a genre I've sunk my teeth particularly deep into, but I love Hollow Knight, and I really enjoyed Metroid Dread. But as it goes with the genre, these games take a bit of time to hit their stride with how limited your kits start out, which was especially true here, as your starting kit in Pseudo Regalia consists of a jump and... no, that's it. It's just a jump. Okay, to be fair, you do get a sword pretty early on. I find it funny that this platformer prioritizes giving you a sword before any other mobility options, but I have to trust the process here. Oh, and here I come. It's me, the Pseudo Regalia, whatever that means. Whoa! What am I, like a rabbit? A Weirdly sexy rabbit. Alright, that's not the run button. What is that? This is me talking to short people. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Hey! Anyone who's not 5'7" or taller. What is this, an egg? What is this guy? What the fuck is that? Are those... This thing looks disgusting. Kill it immediately. What? Okay, do I suck? Am I bad at 3D platformers? Why is there just diamond block from Minecraft? Whoa, hello. Okay. Dude, I'm playing Dark Souls now. I thought this was a platformer. Why does he move like he's in 3 FPS? Oh shit! My sword! I'm starting to think this game's genre listing is a complete lie. I'm fighting a Souls-like boss before I've even jumped over one pit in this 3D platformer. What is going on here? I'm gonna cover this secret third genre of pseudo-regalia here and now because it remains consistent across my full 2-hour playtime. The combat in this game is awful. It boggles my mind why it's here at all. There's no weight behind your attacks. You swing at the enemies in this game and your sword just kind of phases through them with no sense of feedback. A lot of indie games I've played with any form of combat often utilize that simple one-hit kill so that the player derives immediate gratification from defeating enemies. It's quick, it's simple, and it's satisfying. In other, more action-oriented games where enemies don't go down as easily, it's still fun to engage with them since they actually react to you hitting them. Whether it's by being momentarily stunned or being knocked back by your attacks, you actually feel like you're achieving something in this encounter. This is what it looks like to fight an egg thing in pseudo-regalia. There's nothing here, and I know this thing is very intentionally supposed to be just fodder to fill your meter in this game, but look at the fodder equivalent in something as basic as Mario. You see a Goomba, you jump on it, and it's over. Obviously this boss fight is better than every basic ass enemy in this game, but the combat still just feels so shallow. Man, this guy has so much health! He missed again. Okay, never mind, you suck. How do we use the key? Hello? There we go. Apparently I missed it the first 2 times. Once you leave the tutorial area, the game throws linearity out the door as the rest of the world opens up to you. Akin to the classic design philosophy of Metroidvanias, not everything is accessible to you yet considering your limited pool of starting abilities, but there's really no clear right path to take from here on out. You just gotta wander this playground until you eventually find what you need to wander further. These fucking egg guys! Oh! Okay, we can't get up there, hold on. No. I have the extended range. Come on. Oh fuck, wait, it's possible. Come on. Come on. Why can't I fucking hit it anymore? Oh my god. I suck at it. I'm gonna spend an hour doing this. It's not worth it anymore. What the fuck did I just do? What? Take this. Okay, well it can't hit enemies apparently. What do we have? The sun grieves. Ah, so wall jump? Yes, it is. Okay, so hold on. Wait. You can... Ooh, you get a little extra height. Everyone, meet the main character of this segment. The Sun Grieves. In the next hour and 40 minutes, the character development on this pair of boots alone is more compelling than anyone in Noise or Card NCL. Okay, so to start off with, this was one of the strangest feeling wall jumps I've ever seen implemented in a platformer. Firstly, it's not an infinite amount of wall kicks. You get 3. Secondly, you don't really get any height with them, which for the most part, the level design in Pseudo-Regalia accommodates for this. You mainly just need them for horizontal traversal. The only real way of getting any sort of verticality with them is by chaining them in very quick succession off of tightly compact walls. Just from these 2 points, this wall jump takes a while to get used to. It's so foreign to any other wall kick I've become used to, and I'd go as far as to say it feels a little bit janky. It's in this weird middle ground where you need to use it at an angle to get anywhere since it doesn't send you high enough to effectively bounce between 2 parallel walls, but even when traveling horizontally with it, I struggled to keep consistent forward momentum as I would continuously hit these walls too sharply, where they'd send me straight into the opposite direction rather than forward. So yeah, already a bit of an adjustment to make there. But this mechanic somehow gets even worse as I introduce its third bizarre quirk. You can buffer wall jumps. That is to say, if you press the jump button while still airborne, John's Pseudo-Regalia will automatically kick off the next wall they touch. The reason this is a problem is because you can utilize the Sun Grieves mid-air to gain a little extra height, which I utilize very consistently throughout my run to help with some trickier jumps. And the amount of times I would accidentally kick off the platform I was aiming for because of this mechanic was incredibly frustrating. Okay, we gotta do the wall bounce here? Yeah, we do. Better than that though. Hold on. Yeah. What the fuck? What? Grab! Why won't you grab? So if you hit it mid-air, then the next time you touch a wall, oh my god, there are poles up there. Am I supposed to be able to reach that? Alright. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. And then, okay, we're starting to get it now. Now that I realize that the moment you do it mid-air, the next time you touch a wall, you're gonna wall kick, I'm kind of getting it now. So then, preemptively, yep, okay, we've got it now. Yeah, I'm getting it now. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Wall kick, wall kick. Yeah, hold on, I'm getting it now. Once I began to understand more precisely how the wall kick worked, I began to tolerate it. I still didn't like the idea of the mid-air kick being tied to the wall kick, but realistically, the little boost you get from it probably wasn't intended to be exploited this way. Well, we definitely can't make this, I think. Oh, hold on, but we can wall jump. Yeah, we can. Ah, fuck. I can't kick you? Hey, too fast, too far, whoa. What am I supposed to do here? Okay. Am I supposed to be here yet? I feel like I don't have some of the abilities that I might need. Taking a quick break from the wall kick saga as I try to figure out where the hell I am and what the hell I'm supposed to be doing here. In classic Metroidvania fashion, if aimlessly wandering around fails you, just check the map for that one unexplored room you accidentally missed 15 minutes ago and backtrack there. You'll probably find some form of meaningful progression, sometimes, hopefully. The underbelly? I feel like we're a bit early to be in hell already. I reckon we can make that. Fuck. Yeah! Break this wall, come on! Come on! We'll come back later. Do I even have the tools to get up there? I don't think I'm supposed to be in these kinds of areas yet. Never mind, I'm a god. I can go anywhere I want to. Oh, we're going to the underbelly, but again. Oh no, we're back in Castle Santa. Where are we now? Ooh, new area. Potentially? Nope. But what if I was actually really good at the game? Oh, wait, is that how I was supposed to get from where I came from? Apparently. Wait, this is the bubble area. Okay, where else can I go from here? Okay, there is a door that I haven't explored, so. Whoa, how am I supposed to do this one? We can totally fucking make it work though. 1, 2, yeah! Hell yeah. Not even close. Never, I need way more wall kicks to get through that actually. My wall kick? Where's my wall kick? What if we just... What? Oh, hell yeah. Can I get up anywhere in this room? Surely. Come on, the wall kick's all I need. Yep, we fucking can. Okay, but realistically, there's nowhere I can go from here, so let's just check out the other door. Yep, perfect. Honestly, all we need for this whole game actually is just the wall kick. That's something new, we need that. Yeah. What do we got? Double jump, give it to me. An aspect of good graces. Increased healing power by 1... Okay. Is that all I came here for? Just some bum-ass healing? Come on. Okay, well this was a interesting little waste of time. So now what? Okay, so this whole room we'll have to come back to later, I suppose. So now, where do we go? These bubbles are just leading me back the way I came. Where else are we going? See, this is the tricky thing about Metroidvanias. I never know if I'm in the right area. I distinctly remember running into very similar roadblocks back in Hollow Knight as I was with Pseudo Regalia, where you can make it through a fair bit of a certain area before hitting a roadblock that forces you to backtrack and return later when you have the right abilities for the job. I honestly wish these games were a little more linear because of that fact. I know a lot of people prefer this kind of freedom, but for me, it just feels like a grand waste of time, especially if the game doesn't reward you even a little for exploration. When it comes to Pseudo Regalia, well, you might find a stray costume here or there if you really dig deep, but otherwise there's nothing beneficial for not going in what feels like the correct order. And that's the problem! I don't know what the damn correct order is! So many times during my playthrough, I would wander back into an area I'd already been in wondering, shit, was this supposed to be the entrance for the area I was just in? Did I go backwards? Am I supposed to be here yet? That was the question consistently on my mind, and it was almost always because of that damn wall kick. What started off as a frustrating mechanic I couldn't wrap my head around quickly became a tool of what felt like endless possibilities. There was almost no room, no platform, no obstacle I'd encountered thus far that I couldn't clear with the humble power of 3 wall kicks. Now, there were some areas here and there where I obviously conceded just couldn't be triumphed with this power alone. I knew my limits, and I knew its limits. But if it seemed even somewhat attainable, unbeatable. Well, you already know my response to that from my Noise playthrough. As I fumble around this open world for a little longer, I want to take a break from all the complaining I've done so far to say that the core platforming of Pseudo-Regalia is pretty good. The movement can feel a little stiff compared to some modern platformers, or hell, even platformers that came out a decade ago, considering Pseudo-Regalia released in 2023. And of course, I didn't get far enough to see a lot of the movement options this game will inevitably grant, but even just the basic moveset felt really fluid and fun to control. Again, going back to the wall kick, chaining these jumps from wall to platform was really satisfying once I got the hang of it. Sure, I kept abusing this ability to access areas which, even now I'm still unsure if these places were intended to be traversed this early on, but I wouldn't have kept doing this if it didn't feel cool as hell to try and push my restricted capabilities to their limits. The music in this game isn't half bad either. Really matches the atmosphere, you know? The art style looks kinda gross, actually. Kinda harkens back to the era of N64 games, but the textures of the environment look disgusting. Every flat surface is blurred to hell, which I think is supposed to mimic the style of an old-ass game. Not too sure, I just found it a bit distracting at times. Anyway, almost an hour in, and the first sign of major progression has finally shown itself. I finally managed to stumble into an unexplored area that I can actually do stuff in. Within it, I acquired one of the 5 major keys required to access the final thing. I actually don't remember what they're for, but they're important. This is the area that just keeps on giving though, because shortly after I also get my hands on the first major movement tech since the trusty Sungreaves, a long jump. Though not quite as versatile, Solar Wind is a lot of fun to use and a much needed upgrade to both my traversal speed as well as making large horizontal gaps way easier to clear. This new ability comes with an unforeseen caveat, however. You see, this thing pairs dangerously well with my wall kick, making it possible for me to access even more areas I am woefully unprepared for. Like, literally the end of the game, I think? A tower holding the essence of the princess, never to be seen again. But with the 3 powers of the sun, one can find their own path. So this is the end game. I didn't have the key, so I couldn't find out. Secret? Oh, 100% secret, dude. Damn it, I don't have the ground pound yet. So I spent another little while exploring, venturing deeper into this giant maze until I stumbled upon a new area. Since these were uncharted waters for me, I mistakenly hoped I'd be able to keep up my streak of worthwhile progression. Instead, I find myself staring into a despairing abyss, practically screaming words of discouragement at me. Hello? Uh-huh. Yes, of course. This to me illustrates how Pseudo-Regalia very evidently has a right and wrong path to take at any given point. This false sense of freedom has led me astray once again, and now I'm forced to backtrack and try my luck in some other unexplored hallway that I missed on the other side of this labyrinth. Except, I decided I'm not gonna do that. I'm sick of feeling lost. And frankly, even though it's pitch black in this section, and I genuinely could not see a damn thing I was jumping on despite my brightness being set to the max, I felt like I'd be just as blind outside of this room anyway. So fuck it. I'm not waiting around for Pseudo-Regalia to shine the way anymore. I'll carve my own damn path through the dark. I see a beacon of light this way. Oh, hold on. I see glowing thing. That... Am I not grabbing it? Bell. You know, I have like just this, I have a tiny inkling, like this nagging feeling that maybe I'm not supposed to be here yet, you know? Oh, but actually, I don't know if you guys saw that. Probably not. Ooh, wait a minute. Do I even need a light at all? Just gonna jump up here, yep. And then there's a platform here, kind of, maybe. Yep, up there. And then what? I see a platform down there. I do. There's a platform here. I'm just gonna get to it somehow. Oh, hold on. We hit something. We hit something. We're getting there. Come on. Yes. Back in the underbelly. This looks fun. Ah, this looks really fun, actually. Of course, this leads me to the only place for sequence-breaking sinners like me. I've finally been granted access to hell. You know, it's a lot more purple than I imagined. So that's what the devil looks like. Despite so very obviously being out of my element down here, I refuse to turn back after making it this far. With nothing but my trusty Sungreaves, Solar Wind, and sheer determination, I vowed to conquer the underbelly. What is this? Oh, big area. Bubble time. We want to go up. Nice. Let me reach this button. Damn, it's so close. It's so far. I feel like we can make it if I just had more wall jumps. Wait, hold on a second. That's how we make it. Dude, we can make it. Oh! I'm so fucking good at this game, dude. Wait, did I just go back the way I came? What? Fuck! God damn it. What is the point of this room? What? Oh, there's a path here. Or no, there is not. What? I don't know if I should go down yet. I don't know if I can get back up later. Because I really don't think I'm supposed to be here yet. I don't think I can get up there. Actually, what am I? Never doubt yourself. Never doubt yourself. Holy shit. What did that do now? Oh, it lets me go back up. Dude, see? Look at this game. This game is like, oh, you need this platform to get back up. Do you not understand that I've mastered the wall bounce? Oh, alright. This might be a tough one. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible, I'm telling you. I'm telling you it's... Wow, that sent me really far back though. Holy shit. The way we do this is we start up here. So we can get the extra height. A little more. Fuck! Alright, we can do it, we can do it. We can do it. Oh, thank you, it actually put me back here. Oh, fuck. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it. Oh, dude, we can do it, we can do it, we can... Fuck! We didn't have the heals. It's gonna send me back. Whatever. If it sends me back, it sends me back. It's fine. Fuck. I feel like that's possible though. I don't want to go all the way back there, so we'll leave it for now. Okay, yeah. I found my match with this long-ass pit. But it's fine. Because it turns out I was going backwards again anyway, and found the intended route around the other side like 3 minutes later. I am truly unstoppable. And shortly thereafter, my arrogance is only endorsed further. Aspect of let's perform an additional air kick. Holy shit, I'm fucked. They're gonna kill me, but not if I get up there and beat your ass. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're fucked now. I'm invincible. No one hears a word. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can make it better. 4. Damn it, why can't I get up there? Come on! How was that not it? No, what? Dude, why aren't you grabbing the ledge? I know you need the double jump. Why am I in this area? Me when I can't break the game. Yeah, I knew it. Oh my, come on! Why does it reset the block in this area, dude? Why? Because I never got it. Because I reset the save earlier. Fuck, this is annoying, dude. This is way more annoying. Because it's not terrain that's made to be fucking wall jumped on. Oh. Oh, hold on. Don't ever doubt me again. Fuck this chain, man. Do you want to fight? Why? He's so small. Peekaboo. Oh, fuck, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. In total, I spent about half an hour fucking around in hell. Until finally, the light at the end of the tunnel shone down on me. I was so ready to gorge myself on the fruits of my labor. New abilities galore. A whole new world to explore just beyond. Mayhaps even the grand finale was waiting for me. And I had just skipped the entire game with my incredible platforming prowess. Whatever my prize was, it was just a quick pole shimmy away. Damn it, I don't have the ground pound yet. It threw me back out in a little shed from the previous area! I went backwards! I guess you need some ground pound ability to get down here in the first place, but instead I crawled up Satan's ass only for him to spit me right back out with nothing to show for it but an extra wall kick. Which, like, that's cool and all, but I did nothing productive for the last 30 minutes and I can't even go back to try again right now! I guess you could say this was my apt punishment for believing I could rise above the game's design philosophy. I tried to break Pseudo Regalia, and instead it just broke me. That's pretty much where this tale ends. In the final 20 minutes of playtime, I once again accidentally discovered a new move in my existing arsenal that the game once again does not tell you about. It's pretty awesome actually. Gives you a ton of vertical height and would have made some earlier platforming way more manageable. I did also eventually get the ground pound, which doubles as a high jump. That was nice. Only took almost 2 hours to get any form of reliable vertical mobility. When all was said and done, I pretty much ended things off right back where I was about an hour ago, with no damn clue where I'm supposed to go next. And that's time. I will say, Pseudo-Regalia is pretty fun. I spent quite a while just dicking around and stubbornly trying to tackle challenges that the game clearly didn't intend for me, but I don't know, I had fun doing it. Sure, at any given point I could have just caved and looked up a guide instead of banging my head against the wall in hopes that it would eventually crack, but if your game needs a guide to get through it, it's kinda failing in my opinion. That or I'm stupid and too stubborn to admit it. Maybe a bit of both. Probably more me, actually. While I enjoyed the gameplay of Pseudo-Regalia, I personally find the way progression is structured to irritate me too much. Yes, I kept sticking my nose in places it did not yet belong, but while some of that was due to my insistence of not wanting to backtrack, there were situations where I genuinely felt so lost in this overworld that trudging my way through these areas I had no business being in yet still felt like a better alternative than checking every room I've already been in thrice over to see if a new ability I unlocked somewhere along the way now grants me access to something I couldn't overcome earlier. But these are just my early thoughts, of course. The real question is, did I still feel compelled enough in my 2 hours of gameplay that I'd want to continue Pseudo-Regalia? I was honestly really on the fence about this one, but ultimately, I'll say yes. This is a game that I would want to eventually try and beat at some point, on the condition that next time I play it, I'm definitely using a guide. This next one comes to us from a Mr. Nezo Sandy Balls. I'd say Nezo and I have a pretty good amount of overlap in game taste. In particular for Nezo, he definitely has a fondness for RPG Maker games or similar RPGs, as well as platformers. I wouldn't have been surprised to get something along the lines of, you know, maybe A Hat in Time. I've never played that game before. That would have been interesting to try. Ah, Nezo. He also enjoys the idea of horror games, but can't play them for shit because he's a little bitch. So I wouldn't have been surprised to get a shit my pants kind of game. Anyway, here's Misty's Izakaya, a spin-off of the Touhou series. Now, I had my first run-in with the core Touhou series just last year, and I really enjoyed the 2 games I played. I am a sucker for bullet hells and shoot-em-ups after all. To be perfectly honest, I kinda don't have that much to say about this game. That's not because it's bad or anything, or worse, boring. No. It's just that, well, there's not an awful lot going on here. This is an arcade-style cooking game with a core focus on multitasking. You play as Touhou running a Misty's Izakaya, which for those of you not familiar with Place But Japan, this is a Pizza Hut, but instead of serving pizza, it serves soup and alcohol. The premise here is that your friend is deep in with the loan sharks and you have to drag her out of debt by opening a small business. During the day, you run around town talking to the same 5 people and collecting fish from the river. No, there is unfortunately not a fishing minigame tied to this, you just rip them out of the water with your bare hands. At night, it's time to open up shop. Business usually runs for about 5 to 10 minutes, and in that time you'll have customers slowly fill up the shop. They place their order, you press a couple of buttons, wait for the food to be ready, and just serve it up. That's really all there is to it. In my 2 hours of playing this, Misty's Izakaya doesn't really ramp up the complexity, nor its difficulty by too much. I'm sure it starts to pick up the pace further in, but for those 2 hours, the difficulty curve was more of just a flat line. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, mind you. I don't think this game is pushing to be a frantic kitchen simulator where you have to constantly be on your toes. This isn't Overcooked, it's more like, Feed Me from hit game Wii Party U. They do throw some minor new gameplay elements into the mix to spice things up not too far in. For one, the game just randomly decides to throw a little rhythm challenge at you sometimes. Well, calling it a challenge is a bit dishonest. Alright, let's get started. We need one of these. Oh. So true. It asks you to press 3 more buttons than usual. Successfully doing so will grant you some cool abilities which range from catapulting meals straight into your customers' mouths to forcing those same customers to instantly eat their food. That is horrifying. The biggest gameplay shakeup are the special guests. Every so often, a familiar face from the Touhou series will turn up. Well, I say familiar, but I have no fucking clue who these people are. You really think I was paying attention to the characters speaking in a language I can't understand when I played Touhou 8 last year? No, I was a bit preoccupied with trying to survive the onslaught of 1,000 stars. Anyway, these goobers waltz right into your bar, and instead of ordering something off the menu like a normal human being, well, I guess Touhounian, or whatever the fuck the species of these characters are, they just sit their asses down and say, I'll let you decide what I'm having today. And sure, that in of itself is perfectly fine. They don't really know what they want, so you gotta surprise them. Except they're all a bunch of picky-ass eaters who will throw a hissy fit if you serve them something they don't like. In particular, during my playthrough, there was this one girl who would just blooper my whole kitchen if she didn't like my food. Fuck you. Hey, what are you doing? What the fuck is this? You fucking cursed my kitchen, you bitch. Ma'am, I don't think that's necessary. So for the unique characters, it's a matter of gauging their tastes based on their personality. You engage with them outside of combat to better understand them as a character so that you can feed them the right shit later on. But you can also just trial and error it by force feeding them fish until they fucking like it. It's a pretty fun twist that keeps every night from feeling too stale, though it can feel a bit touch and go at times. Like, I'll figure out what a certain character vibes with and just start serving it to them. Sometimes they accept it, and sometimes they just don't. Even though it's literally the exact same thing I served them last time. What, did they change their minds? They don't like it anymore? If you still can't figure out what they like after throwing the entire forest at them, you do also have the option of just throwing them to the curb. See, why can't you be like my good customers who just like come in, look at the menu and just like get something simple? What the fuck is this? Look at what you did. Your peculiar ass taste buds fucked my kitchen. I don't know what you want, girl. Fuck me. That's it. You know what? Get the fuck out of my kitchen. But yeah, that's basically all there is to Misty's Izakaya. It's a very simple game that's very repetitive in concept, and while there isn't much variation with each night, I didn't mind it at all. Not every game needs to be challenging or even super involved, to be honest. I found this to be a pretty good balance of laid back without feeling completely mindless, and that's a really hard balance to strike, but I think this game walked the line perfectly. This is the perfect game to just boot up for half an hour every once in a while for some chill vibes. The charming art style really helps to bring it all together as well, though I will say, definitely could have used some variety in the OST. It was literally the same song every night for my entire 2-hour playtime. Overall, this is absolutely a game I could see myself coming back to every once in a while after a long day of work. Actually, this is something I'd love to get on my Switch just to play a few rounds of on the train to work. Might be my Balantra replacement for laid-back gaming, until that game gets DLC at least. Out of all the friends I had on board for this video, I'd argue that Shazam's lineup of played games isn't the most varied. He tends to stick with mostly mainstream games, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, mind you, but as he would admit himself, it made coming up with a unique game to recommend me for this video a little trickier since he just didn't have as much to pull from. What Shazam might lack in a diversified gaming portfolio, he makes up for with his deep devotion and love for the franchises that he is a fan of. In particular, he is a massive connoisseur of all things Metroid and Zelda. So, to no one's surprise, he gave me Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix. Yeah, he gave me a Zelda game. But he still managed to keep things interesting with his choice of one of the lesser known Zelda games, The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. And I say that as someone who didn't really know anything about this game until this video. When it comes to my history with the Zelda series, it's unfortunately pretty bare bones. I fell in love with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to a lesser degree, plus I played Ocarina of Time on 3DS and enjoyed my time with it. Those are the only 3 Zelda games to date that I've rolled credits on. I'm not counting Age of Calamity, because that's a Warriors game. On the 3D side of things, I did try Majora's Mask 3D and Skyward Sword HD, but ultimately dropped both of them. Majora's Mask I admittedly didn't give a fair shot. I shelved it during the first dungeon after getting stuck on a puzzle for too long, and just didn't bother to pick it back up after that. And Skyward Sword I actually got pretty far into, and was having a good time with it, until it asks you to start backtracking and making you do the same stupid bullshit in the areas you've already visited. Then there's the 2D lineup, of which I haven't finished a single 2D Zelda game. I tried Link Between Worlds as a teenager, and just couldn't get into it due to how close-minded I was with video games back then. I also tried Link's Awakening on Switch when that came out, and I made it through 2 of the dungeons, but then I got lost in the tiny-ass overworld somehow and just threw in the towel. Don't ask how, I don't remember. I think there was a puzzle with a monkey I couldn't figure out or something. Now, admittedly, the games I dropped weren't always for any fault of their own. You can chalk that up to my incompetence. I am not very smart when it comes to puzzles, riddles, trivia, anything of the sort really. My critical thinking skills are better saved for more important things, like remembering to breathe. In summary, Zelda games me no likey all the time because too complicated for stupid brain. I like the ones where I can throw a boomstick at Goblin more. But now it's time for a redemption arc. Maybe Minish Cap, the 3rd worst selling Zelda game, will be the one to open my heart to more Zelda games going forward. I'm feeling like a File 3 kind of guy today, you know? It's one of those weekends. Ooh, what should I name myself? Peanut or Done? When the world was on the verge of being swallowed by shadow. What, like the hedgehog? I'm playing as Tree. Nope, hold on. I'm playing as Zelda. That's me? I'm old as fuck in this game. What happened to Link? Good morning, Master Smith. No, my name is Dunn. Oh, I'm walking into this well, but I can't get past it. Oh, why did I put this here? Look at this guy's dopey ass face as he gets the sword. He's so happy. I'm sick of this house. Ugh. Fuck you, Dad. Give me that coin. Give me that move! It's gonna despawn, you bitch. Get out of the way. No! I'm gonna jump the gun here a bit and exclaim my love for this game's art style. It is gorgeous. Now, of course, I knew the GBA was a generation that housed games boasting incredible sprite work and stunning pixel art. But this is just not a generation I was around for, nor is it one that I've gone back to outside of Pokemon Emerald. So seeing this firsthand definitely gave me a massive appreciation for how good games on handhelds could look even back then. The 2 aspects this style shines brightest in are with the character sprites and a certain gameplay mechanic that I'll bring clearing up a little later. In the meantime, look at this little guy, he's adorable. I absolutely love the personality Link exudes in this game through nothing but his face. He's so damn expressive in Minish Cap. His animations are just so bouncy. I'm not quite sure how to articulate it very well. He's just so cool. As far as the plot goes, well, it's a fucking Zelda game, you know how this shit goes. I am random country boy who was friends with the princess and is totally not the reincarnated hero of legend. No, not me. Couldn't be me. You accompany the princess to town, princess gets kidnapped, or actually in this case, she gets stoned. No, not that kind. No, not that kind either. She gets petrified, alright? I should have worded that better. It's actually not Ganondorf this time around. See, this mysterious mage girl named Victor was the champion in a sword contest where the prize was a sword that was sealing away otherworldly horrors beyond Hylian comprehension. What happened to normal tournament prizes like a purple rupee or a boomerang? Anyway, you know the rest from here. Turns out we are the chosen hero from Prophecy, who could have guessed? So of course we gotta track down the evil wizard by collecting thingamabobs from a bunch of random dungeons so we can save the Zelda and go back to sleep. From here, standard Zelda shenanigans ensue. I swipe at every shrub I see, stab some slimy bitches with my sword, and wander into a foggy forest. It's here that your companion for this title is introduced, John Cap. I save him from getting stoned to death and he talks about how we just have so much in common. Yeah man, we both have sentience. This is where Minish Cap's gimmick comes into play. You can shrink down to 5'3". It drastically changes how things are in the overworld. You drown in puddles, and you can't walk through patches of grass. How did they have this technology back then? To be honest, all this mechanic amounted to in my limited game time is aesthetics. In the overworld, you can just access new areas with this ability, which is just no different to key items in other Zelda games. Otherwise, you can visit some areas only accessible to tiny people, and in these areas, small things look big, I guess. That's all this Minish Cap was in my playtime, a gimmick. Hell, the first dungeon doesn't even really take advantage of his size in creative ways. This just looks like a normal dungeon. Sure, you can ride lily pads and fit inside a barrel, but in a fantasy world, big plants aren't exactly groundbreaking. With all that being said, holy shit, the shrunken down environment in this game looks so damn beautiful. Look at this big ass acorn! While I didn't get to experience much outside of this one small town and the first dungeon, even these small areas are just stunning. Particularly in the town, it does an excellent job of portraying perspective with this forest of clovers and buildings molded from vases. Now, it's time to talk about the meat of any Zelda game that isn't Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, the dungeons! Circling back to my previous series retrospect, I tried to make it clear that it was way less often that the Zelda games were failing me, and more so that I wasn't often willing to put in the extra brainpower to get through any roadblock I was hit with. That mainly boils down to the fact that I'm not a very big puzzle game person. I like puzzles in games, Resident Evil is packed with puzzles after all. But when they're the heart and soul of a game, then 9 out of 10 times I find that it's just not for me. People like to call Zelda games adventure games. That is something I will always argue is just blatantly misleading. Sure, it might be considered a subgenre of some of these games, but let's not kid ourselves here. These are puzzle games with light combat elements. The only adventuring you're doing is rolling from point A to B, and if that's enough to define something as an adventure, then my morning commute to work is a Zelda game, minus the roll. This first dungeon here is a critical moment in setting the mood for the rest of the game. Either I'll get the sweet gratification of solving a puzzle all by myself like a big boy, or I'll die trying. Time to evaluate the first puzzle. Looks like we have a dark room with 4 switches and I'll need to... In reality, this was a really solid beginner dungeon in my opinion. Now I do think the puzzles here overall are a bit simple to a fault. Most of them boil down to press a button, 2 buttons, put something on a button, that sort of thing. And also, John Minish is a bit handholdy at times, like he'll literally just give you the answer the moment you even think about some of these puzzles. The thing that really elevates this dungeon and brings it all together are these environmental puzzles. There are these stretchy mushrooms that fling you across rooms, there's a giant barrel in the center that you can rotate by running through to access different rooms, plus you get to traverse a river with some physics-based steering using a neat little vacuum item. There's nothing here that'll blow your mind, and the puzzles are so straightforward that as long as you can comprehend how to turn a doorknob, it's mathematically impossible for you to get stumped on any of them. Yet, despite that, I thought it was pretty fun. Ideally, you want a puzzle to hit that sweet spot difficulty, where it doesn't feel like you need a master's degree to figure it out, but where you still feel like a genius for cracking the code. This first dungeon didn't really have any moments like that for me. A better way to describe my experience with this dungeon is that it just hit me with a lot of those back-to-back aha or ooh kind of moments. Of course, the absolute highlight of this dungeon is the boss fight. This is where Minish Cap makes the absolute best use of its gimmick. You just fight a regular ass slime dude, but at Link's current size, this guy becomes a whole different beast. Sure, maybe it's not that different to when regular-sized Mario just fights a big-ass Goomba, but I think the context matters a lot in this scenario. These little flies that you could just swat away before are now a major obstacle here. Super enjoyable fight all around. And that caps off the first dungeon of this game. All around, a good first impression for me. It didn't completely sell me on Minish Cap, but it still hit that crucial target of getting me interested in seeing what else this game had to offer with its unique concept. Most importantly, I didn't get stuck on a puzzle for half an hour straight and give up. I didn't feel like a complete idiot for once. Sure, maybe this game went a little too far in the other direction for its first dungeon, but this is just the tutorial dungeon after all. And with 30 minutes left, I was keen to make a mad dash for the next dungeon and find out what else this game had to offer. I got lost! For like the entire last half hour, what is wrong with me? This little Smurf dude tells me to go to a mountain up in the north, but every path I tried to take was blocked by Gorons doing some construction, or like a chicken. I tried going back into town and a weird old man came up to me and he gives me a side quest to make friends or some bullshit. This might be mandatory content to progress the main storyline. I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. And that was it. 30 minutes passed and I somehow couldn't figure out how to progress. These games are designed with children in mind, and yet I somehow keep managing to outdo myself in terms of sheer ineptitude. Here I stand, a small hero facing a giant moron. I genuinely do want to see more of this game, but clearly I need a talking cap to hold my hand even tighter through the whole thing. You know the annoying companions that Zelda fans don't like in each new game? Yeah, I'm sorry guys. They keep adding them because of me. My buddy Qual has played some weird ass games. Out of all the friends featured in this video, his game was by far the most unpredictable. I had absolutely no idea what I was getting into here. I mean, knowing this guy, I could be playing a game called Milking Miro. Qual, what the fuck? I went on your Steam page to get an example and this was the first fucking thing that I found. Half the games Qual tells me about are games that I've never heard of in my life. I think he just makes some of these up, to be honest. When I ask him what he's been playing lately, and he looks me square in the eyes talking about some hit game, Synthetic Legion Rising, I go, huh? Path of Acra? What are you talking about, man? N++? That's not real, it's like a coding language. Galaxy Burger? This game looks like Valhalla mixed with another game that's in this video actually. Zuma Deluxe? What is that thing? Hooligan Vazja? Are we serious out here? This rabbit hole goes too deep for me. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 full bo- Alright, enough. I think I've illustrated my point here. By letting Qual force me to play a game of his choice, I'm opening the Pandora's box of whack-ass Steam games. At least by my standards. And out of all the wild shit that Qual had in his arsenal, well, this one definitely caught me by surprise. This is Arctic Eggs, spiritual predecessor to Galaxy Burger, of course. You'll never believe what this game is about. You play as a nameless prisoner in a dystopian Arctic. Your purpose? Well, it's just to fry some eggs. This is a physics-based simulation game where you take control of a frying pan. You roam a desolate, urban hellscape that's frozen over, speaking to its residents who usually have something interesting to say. Some of these soldiers, honestly. Makes everything being a little too hostile. I noticed. Oh, sorry. I needed a job. Quit. Too scared. When the bass drops. Kill yourself. Most of these guys will have orders they want to place. You throw their desired ingredients onto the pan and just start cooking. The pan needs constant movement to actually generate heat, and the general rule of thumb is that both sides of any given food will need to be cooked in order to be served, making it so that you have to masterfully flip things over without letting them fly off the pan. There's a lot of peculiar cuisines or items that will get thrown into the mix the further in you get. Otherwise, this is it. That's what this entire game boils down to. You just fry some eggs. And you know what? I kinda fuck with it. It's too close to the egg! Oh, bacon! No! Hey! Hey! Whoa! Oh! 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 See, this is it. That was a backflip. I don't need sex. That would fuck me every day. Anything semi-chicken related is half the plan. Kids don't even call each other chicken anymore. Out of all 12 games I played for this video, Arctic Eggs is the only one I managed to complete. It's a very short game. Realistically, it only takes about an hour and a half to hit credits. I was only cutting it close because I left the recording going while I went to take a shit at some point, and because it's not actually necessary to feed absolutely everyone in this game. But I did anyway. And it's not just because I never spoke to the guy posted outside of the final boss who tells you this information. No. I did it because this game is actually a lot of fun. It does a superb job managing to keep a basic gameplay loop from ever getting stale while keeping that simplicity a core value all throughout. Nothing it introduces ever needs a tutorial. You never need to sit there questioning the new mechanic for too long. The game gracefully scales the difficulty as you go with fresh new gimmicks, all at such a perfect pace where you never feel overwhelmed nor complacent. By the time you've mastered the humble egg and cigarette, the game already has its next tricks lined up waiting for you. We're talking ice cubes that act as a time limit, alcohol that is wildly hard to control if you spill it, cockroaches that will demand your full attention lest they flee, exploding bullets that require finesse to keep them from blasting your food into oblivion. Fish! Flipping food has never been more exhilarating. It's a novel concept that anyone can pick up and understand, but only so few can truly master it. It even has a custom challenge mode for psychopaths. 'Cause like, how the fuck? This isn't even mentioning the characters that you interact with. The writing in this game is very enigmatic, and just generally entertaining. Outside of needing to interact with characters to cook their food, I was actively seeking out every conversation just to see what absurdist dialogue would come out of these abominations. This game is just unapologetically weird and bizarre and quirky, and man, I just love it. If you have an afternoon to kill, or just looking for a quick in-between game to experience before your next big RPG or open world adventure, I urge you to give this game a go. Arctic Eggs is a game where you just fry some eggs. And that's all it needed to be. I have officially cleared half of my game lineup for this video. That's 12 hours of my friends' game recommendations played through. It's been an interesting mix so far. I've been enlightened to some real gems, and my interest has been piqued for some games that I never thought to be my thing. Not every game has been a winner so far, and I certainly wasn't expecting that to be the case. The variety is there, and that's what matters most to me in this video. However, this is where we hit a bit of a turning point, and it all begins with Reaper's game recommendation, Star. Let me paint you a picture before getting into this one. The idea for this video was first conceived by Alice all the way back in April. The plan was to smash these games out in a couple of weeks or so in early May. The problem was, I was far too invested in Expedition 33 at the time, and did not get started on this video until May 23rd. And I don't mean editing the video, I mean playing the games for it. I wanted to get through these games before I would inevitably get distracted by a certain eventful weekend that was happening on the first week of June, which meant having to play through all 12 games in just 2 weeks. Which, to many people, is probably not a tall order. It's just 2 hours per game after all, but you have to remember that A, I'm a full-time employee, and B, I procrastinate a lot. Oopsie. I got through half of the games in those 2 weeks, which of course brings us here. It's the night of June 7th, the weekend right after the Switch 2's launch alongside Mario Kart World, as well as the release of Deltarunes Chapter 3 and 4. And instead of playing either of those games that I had been long anticipating, there I was, about to play Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Oh, and coupled with this taking place just after June 5th, did I also mention that I do not give a flying fuck about this franchise? I tried watching Star Wars Episode 1 years ago and unironically fell asleep during it. I have never had even the slightest interest of trying the original trilogy or anything else to do with this franchise. From the start, this was a recipe for disaster. I hate to admit it as it goes against the whole point of this video, but I was absolutely going into this game expecting to hate it. I wanted to get this one over and done with before the game had even loaded. Admittedly, this game opens on a very strong note. In this opening sequence, you play as Space Hitler, or whatever, I don't fucking know, I only got up to the pod racing in the movies. Now, what's cool about him is that he just does not give a shit about anything, so you don't have to engage with the level or enemies here at all. And yet, it is very funny if you do. What the fuck? Why do I need like a cinematic camera angle of that? Back. Why would I not ever just use my like horsepower on these guys? What's the fucking point of the lightsaber? They just go flying. And they just died from that. Soldier, what is my favorite color? Orange sword. No! You were there, what's my favorite color? Blue! Blue! No! Back, I say. Back. You can combo them. Wait, hold on, this game's awesome actually. Why aren't the movies like this? Oh, okay, that's how you use the sword, right. That's lame though, it's boring as hell. Fuck the sword, man. Yeah, so you get to use the Force here, and it practically insta-kills anything you blink at. This whole section just became a single button simulator for me, and I was loving every second of it. I think Star Wars is supposed to be somewhat serious, but how can I not find blasting some poor bear into the sun hysterical? Sorry, I really have to sneeze. Achoo! Bitch, I'm Darth Man. You can't kill me. That guy, my good, he saw me and had a heart attack, dude. What is happening to all of you? My aura is so menacing. Wherever I go, the people just fall. They tremble in fear. Yeah, that's right. That's right, don't forget who you're dealing with, bitch. Obviously, this section is just meant to convey how powerful Mr. Star Wars himself is. And honestly, it does a really great job at that. Like, yeah, after decimating an entire army on my own like they're ants, I don't know how you could possibly compete with this guy. Oh, who can hold out their hand harder? Bye-bye. Even the boss, really? Don't care. Get back up, mama. Ooh. Ooh, the flips? I didn't even touch him that time. Okay, fun's over now. Naturally, you don't get to breeze through this whole game as Darth Vader. No, instead, I get to take control of boring-ass Buzzcut McGee. He also has the Force, so all hope is not yet lost. Although his one doesn't insta-kill enemies, sadly. It's still just as funny, though. Oh my god, he went flying. Alright, so Star Wars The Force Unleashed. This is best described as an action game, I guess. It's pretty cut and dry with the level structure. I was just walking through giant rooms and hallways, blowing enemies away, and sometimes, just maybe, hitting them with my lightsaber just to feel something. I mean, it's cool, I guess. The combat is fun enough when I actually choose to engage with it. There's some cool ways to interact with the environment when fighting enemies as well. You can blast them off cliffs, blast them into lasers, blast other things at them. Okay, maybe I wasn't really engaging with the combat further than this, to be honest. When I wasn't fighting enemies, I was walking to the next fight. There is some very, and I mean very light puzzle solving, but otherwise, pressing one button to use the Force while slowly walking through these long ass levels because there's no dedicated sprint button for some reason was basically my entire experience with the first level. There's a boss fight at the end, and I got through it pretty much the same way as everything else. There's some story stuff. I well and truly could not care less, but it's there. Main character is in love with this woman, but he can't actually love her because he needs to be evil and stuff. She probably dies later, and he'll be sad about it, and then he becomes a good guy because being evil killed the love of his life. I don't know. You probably don't need to be a Star Wars fan to enjoy this story, but I imagine it helps. Just like with the game as a whole. God, I could have been playing Deltarune. Why the fuck did I do this to myself? It's fine, guys. Level 2 will be peak. This is where I become a Star Wars fan, trust me. This level actually does ramp up the difficulty considerably, which forced me to engage with the combat way more. I was actually swinging my lightsaber here. It was crazy. Mainly because the Force just wasn't cutting it anymore. Even after upgrading it, yeah, you can upgrade stuff in this game, by the way. There's a skill tree. These larger enemies just did not give a fuck about my sneezes anymore. Honestly, the melee combat isn't half bad. Each swing you make has a lot of weight behind it. It makes your hits feel really impactful. Plus, your combo finisher ragdolls enemies similar to the Force push, so all is right with the world. On top of that, I also started making use of this lightning attack that stuns enemies, and suddenly, the pieces were starting to come together. But hold on, there's a move where you can just Sephiroth motherfuckers and cause a shockwave effect? Dude, holy shit, this move is nuts! Combining all these tricks you have up your sleeve made dealing with the large waves of enemies way more rewarding than just blowing the guys away. I don't believe it. I was actually starting to enjoy myself a little here. Sure, these fights get a bit tiresome since it's literally all you do in this game. It's just back-to-back enemy waves. But it was starting to show some promise. Maybe I could look past all my preconceived notions on Star Wars and the unfair burden I placed on this game in my mind as nothing more than a distraction from the games I actually wanted to play. Maybe I could grow to like this game. It was time to face this level's mini-boss. This big-ass amalgamation of scrap. I actually kinda struggled against this thing. He has this shockwave move with a stupidly large area of effect, which I could not for the life of me figure out how to avoid consistently. And he kept spamming it over and over, and it was just not fun. The other problem I was facing here is that this giant prick will just flick you away if you try to melee it. So I guess you're supposed to primarily use ranged attacks with all the junk at your disposal here. Except the force grab is so damn finicky, and it keeps grabbing shit I was not remotely looking at, which was driving me nuts. Anyway, I did eventually kill it and pressed onward. And then he came back like 3 minutes later. Okay. Thankfully, I didn't find it quite as difficult this time, even if my health bar says otherwise. All that was left now for this level was the main boss. This is the worst boss fight of all time. This piece of garbage goblin, inbreed abomination, Dr. Octopus knockoff, 18 Marlboro packs a day, crayon munching, shit eating bastard made me want to blow my fucking brain out. Every attack this arsehole hits you with stuns you. You can block his attacks, but then he just jumps around you and kicks your shins in before you even have the chance to turn around. And even if you do get a hit in, he takes so little damage that I may as well just be stoning him to death with bits of gravel. You can use your lightning attack to stun him for a split second, but the moment you swing, he just insta-locks in and counters your ass to the other side of the stage. So you can't even effectively melee him. If you stand too far away, he'll start using the force on you, and if you try blocking it, he just doesn't care apparently! Sometimes he'll clash with you, and you have to play a shitty reaction quick time minigame in the middle of the fight because everyone loved those in the mid-2000s apparently. Sometimes he jumps into the background and you have to hit him with the janky force throw mechanic I mentioned earlier. That's fun! Oh, and when his health bar gets low enough, he summons the stupid-ass giant from earlier! Twice! Not to mention, throughout all of this, you're not only fighting him, but you're also fighting this awful camera that can't fucking sit still for 3 seconds! The camera does not need to be this close to me! I tried playing slow and deliberate, being as safe as possible and attacking where I saw openings. I tried playing fast and reckless, just wailing my lightning attack on him because that's the only thing that kind of worked. I tried this boss fight for 30 fucking minutes. And I got close. I got so close so many times. And every time it just wasn't enough. I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried. Fuck this boss. Fuck this whole game. I'm taking a 2-week break to play Deltarune. It can only go up from here, right? Milo's game is up next. And if I had to describe Milo in just one picture, it would be this. The types of games Milo plays are gacha games and YouTube videos of other people playing games. Yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking with this one. I asked Milo what his game recommendation was. He had a stroke, and then he sent me a Steam page link for Placid Plastic Duck Simulator. Sure. What the fuck? Okay, I can left click to quack. I am simulating a placid plastic duck right now. You might have guessed this already, but yeah. This is the entire game. Placid Plastic Duck Simulator is just an idle game. Actually no, that's disingenuous to actual idle games. At least there's something going on in most of those games, as mindless as they can be. This is a screensaver. Playing this game is no different to just staring at my wallpaper engine background. At least there I'm looking at some cool ass landscape art. Or hot women. You just stare at a duck floating in a pool. You can't control it outside of making it quack. You can't interact with anything other than a chair and a keypad to a door for some reason. What the Does this game have secrets? What the fuck? Every 2.5 minutes a new duck spawns? There's a second duck now. Hello. Is this one green? What the fuck is this? Sometimes they drift into a slide. Wait, this duck is going closer to the slide. Hold on. There he goes. Oh, I got an achievement. I think I've covered literally everything there is about this game. Alright, so, I can turn the music off. I can sit in the chair. Yep. What the fuck? That duck's breathing fire! Hey! Hey, stop that! How do I switch duck? What are you doing? Don't do that. A second duck has hit the private pool. It took me about 7 minutes to get hopelessly and utterly bored. I have to do this for 2 hours, by the way. Might as well try to make it somewhat interesting, I guess. So it really feels like it could use a little more visual, eye candy. I wouldn't call myself that, but like, just something else to look at. I can put Subway Surfers up on the side of the screen if that'll help. Should I be giving them names? Are they my pets? Okay, you will be Flowey, like the Undertale guy. I don't even, what the fuck do I call this one? When I zoom into him, my camera gets darker. That's how twisted and fucked up this duck is. Never mind, he's breathing fire. It's like, it was like a speck of light when the yellow duck appeared. I'm brown now. I'm blue now. I'm yellow now. I'm not good at naming things. I don't fucking know. Stop breathing fire on your little brother. I'll call this one Jemiah. Jemiah, sure. My camera's covering... Hold on a second. I have to move me over here. You guys can't see the most exciting part of the game. The duck meter. You're missing out on the duck meter right now. See, we're almost full. We're gonna get a 6th child. Okay, this one is Flowey. Remember that. This one is Jemiah. I refuse to name this one. Hippo, and then Splinter. So it's Splinter, Flowey, Jemiah, Hippo. We got it. I got bored again. I can only name my 7 existing ducks once before I have to wait another 2.5 minutes for a new child to adorn with a majestic name. Well, time to find new ways to entertain myself. Okay, let's just move on to the next game. Well, it's no rubber duck simulator, but I guess it'll have to do. This one is courtesy of my guy Evan. He's training to be a chef, so this definitely feels appropriate coming from him. Now, I know Evan enjoys cooking quite a lot, but I wonder if he enjoys it as much as the title screen of this game apparently does.
Cook. Serve.
Why is it so seductive? What the fuck?
Delicious.
Okay. And with this, we have our first and only repeat genre of the video. Honestly, with 12 different games, it's impressive only 2 of them overlapped. This makes for my 2nd cooking game of the video. Well, 3rd if you want to count Arctic Eggs, 4th if you want to count how I was getting cooked in Star Wars. This game looks not very good, to be honest. This looks like a Flash game, but it doesn't have the nostalgic cone of paint those games from my childhood are shining with when I look back at them with my rose-tinted glasses. Playing this as an adult with no prior attachment, well, this just looks depressing. Cook, serve, delicious delivers on at least 2 of those words. You man a restaurant. Customers come in and place their orders, so you gotta cook and, get this, delicious them. Does this sound familiar? Yes, this plays kinda like Misty's Izakaya. However, it has a few very key differences. Unlike with Misty's Izakaya, food prep isn't as simple as pressing just 2 buttons here. This game makes you press 3 sometimes! Hell, it'll even ask you to flick the joystick every now and then. It's wild. There's way more variation with the customer's demands here. Majority of what you're offering to them can be prepared in a multitude of ways. Vanilla ice cream on its own won't satisfy everyone. Some people want 2 scoops, some people want chocolate instead of vanilla, some people want sprinkles, and anyone who doesn't is devoid of a soul. To take it a step further, not everything can be achieved just by pressing a few buttons. The way each menu item is prepared differs a fair bit as well. When pouring a beer, for example, you have to time it to turn off the tap perfectly. If someone wants wine, you have to spam the absolute shit out of the button.
Why am I playing a Mario Party minigame?
Some foods you even have to prepare in a certain order. It makes the process of cooking and serving some of these meals feel a bit like a WarioWare microgame. Overall, this is far more interactive than Misty's Izakaya. You're very involved throughout the whole process. Whereas with Misty's Izakaya, so much of the gameplay is just automated. Cooking food is as simple as literally choosing what you want to cook. There's nothing more you really have to do outside of a laughably easy rhythm minigame. Hell, the food can't even burn if it's left long enough from what I saw. On top of that, you even have a barmaid who will serve drinks for you. Outside of the unique customers who require a bit more management, that whole game is pretty hands-off. So considering the fact that I actually enjoyed my time with Misty's Izakaya despite all of that, when you take that gameplay foundation and just add a much deeper layer of interactivity to make it a much more involved game, it only makes sense that I absolutely despised playing Cook Serve Delicious. I'm sorry, Evan. This is perhaps one of the most mind-numbing experiences I've had outside of just watching rubber ducks floating for 2 hours. How's that going, by the way? Okay then, back to Food Slop. I spent a long time trying to figure out why I had a fine time with this game, but not this one, considering they're fundamentally the same type of game. To me, playing Cook Serve Delicious genuinely feels like busy work. At least during the early game, you only have 4 menu items on constant rotation every shift, and each shift can last for about 8 minutes. So you will constantly repeat the same tasks over and over and over again. The best comparison I could think of is this. Imagine if Among Us was just the tasks. The whole game was just about doing wires and pressing the download button and doing the fucking Simon Says on constant repeat, all in rapid succession. You also unlock things at such a sluggish pace that I was stuck with the same meals to choose from for nearly my entire playthrough. And there were some meals that are so tedious to prepare that I refuse to put them in anymore. The wine that I mentioned earlier, which makes you mash a button to pop the cork, is a nightmare to have in rotation. When you get 3 wine orders back to back, do you know how much that strains your hand? You can't ask someone to be mashing a button on and off for 8 minutes. That shit will give you carpal tunnel. This game actually makes me feel like I'm working in a restaurant, and I mean that as an insult. It feels like I'm back in McDonald's all over again. At some point, I just started reading the orders out loud so that I wouldn't mess them up. With sugar... just greens and carrots. Ranch and cheese.
Hot dog, taco, hamburger.
Sugar,
Hot dog, taco, hamburger. Hot dog, taco, hamburger.
bacon.
Hot dog, taco, hamburger.
Do you see what I mean when I say this is mind-numbing? Look, I definitely chalk part of my distaste for this game purely up to me. I am notoriously bad at multitasking. Like, I tried the first level of this game's challenge mode just to see what it was all about, and I think I was starting to lose my mind. Hamburger, meat, chicken, meat, chicken, meat, chicken. More seasoning. More seasoning. It needs a little more hickory salt and smoky dust. And spicy pepper. Even though these games are very similar, their greatest dividing factor comes from the type of experience that they aim to deliver. Mystia's Izakaya, at least to start off, is supposed to be a chill out kind of game. Something you play to unwind after a long day. Like, I derive the same kind of fun here as playing Animal Crossing. Cook Serve Delicious, on the other hand, is a game designed to push you to your limit. It is a pure time management simulator demanding constant attentiveness that makes my head spin and my hand hurt. This is the first game that I actually couldn't get through the full 2 hours of. I cheated and left the timer running for the last 30 minutes while I left to get ice cream. Maybe serving ice cream for an hour and a half got me fiending for it, I don't know. I always want ice cream. Don't worry, I came back the next day and I finished off the last 30 minutes properly. I wasn't gonna let this of all games be the one to end the video. I will admit, there was a bit of bias working against this game from the start. Not only was it very similar to a game that I'd already played earlier in the video, but we're also 9 games in now and I had just come off of this. Maybe it was doomed from the start. I might have been a little fairer on it had it been one of the earlier games in the list, but as it stands, my desire to ever play more of this game is at rock bottom. May has probably recommended the most stuff to me in the last year or so out of all of my friends. She introduced me to Toho, got me to play Fortune Street with her, she even managed to rope me back into Fortnite for a while. Of course, not all her recommendations are winners, and the amount of times she's tried to get me into a traditional fighting game knowing that she would just absolutely decimate me is a bit concerning. My point with all of this just being that I think she knows what I'm about pretty well by now. I was just a tiny bit worried she'd force me to get smacked around by her in Tekken 8 for 2 hours, since it is part of my Steam family library. But thankfully, she decided to show me mercy and gave me a game she wholeheartedly knew would be right up my alley. Paper Lily is an RPG Maker horror game. I really enjoyed previous RPG Maker horror games like Ib and Amori. Plus, I do really like horror games in general, so despite the streak of not so great games, I definitely had high hopes for this one. May also lauded this game for having multiple endings, which I was definitely intrigued by. Considering this is a horror game, it felt right to bring out the face cam. This one goes out to Ginny, 20 out of 100%, just for you, Ginny. Shout outs to Ginny, who plays all her games, all her horror games at the max brightness, so that she can see better. Paper Lily starts you off in a little prologue to get you introduced to the main character, Lily. Oh, no, never mind, her name is Lacey. She has social anxiety. She nearly has a panic attack just ordering food. Oh my god, she's literally me. And the milkshake? What flavor? Strawberry, please? We're out of strawberries. I thought she said we'll go with concrete. Everyone else in this world apparently does not have a soul. I'd be a reclusive mess too if my neighbor looked like that. After failing miserably at ordering a milkshake, Lacey goes home to check off more things from her bucket list, like eat food and feed the bird. I'm glad she's got her priorities straight. I have a run-in with Lacey's doting older brother who feels suffocating to talk to. Anyway, you get the idea. Lacey is depressed, so she wants to summon Satan. Who wouldn't? She got a letter from the dark web which has instructions on how to be whisked away to another dimension where she can be free of her drab life. The red marker was simple enough to find. You can see it on this bookshelf, although it is pretty small and it can be easy to miss. Usually for these sorts of fetch quests, games will give you some direction as to where to find what you're looking for, or will make its location clearer by making the object shine or stand out in some way. I know it sounds a bit handholdy, but for menial tasks like this that are supposed to act as a small pocket of gameplay to get you accustomed to things and remind you that you're not just reading a book, they really aren't supposed to take more than a minute or two. It took me 10 minutes to find this fucking red string. Firstly, it's just hidden in a sewing kit sitting on a parent's bedside table, so you can't even see it without interacting with every goddamn thing in this house. Secondly, it doesn't need to be string specifically. She very clearly states it just needs to be a red thing she can tie to the phone. So why couldn't I use this red ribbon on my bookshelf that I found immediately because this game actually visually displays it to you? But yeah, I find the stupid string and I finish the ritual, yada yada. Lacey has the most laughably cliche nightmare about being bullied in school that you could possibly write up. She wakes up and calls for the magic school bus, which triggers the most cutthroat speedrun challenge I've ever faced. Get to the bus before time runs out. Whoa. What an intense 19 seconds. So unnecessary. I get on the bus and Lacey has the exact same nightmare she had 5 minutes ago, just in case you already forgot. I get flashbanged before my recording died for a split second and I thought my game somehow crashed. What? Hello? Hello? What the fuck just happened? Bitch ass iTunes! That is the scariest jump scare of the entire game. It took me almost 40 minutes to get to the actual start of the game. This game is only about like 5 hours. It also took me 55 minutes to start playing Balatro over the duck game. Now before you say anything, this still counts as me playing the duck game because there is no game to play! I'm in the Lost Woods now, which is the primary setting for this game. I will say, this game has nice graphics. They are pleasant. I follow some signs and then brute force my way through an alternating switch puzzle for 5 minutes. After getting through that puzzle, finally we can actually get scared now. Stop, don't walk inside the fairy ring, but if you do, please ask them to take their business elsewhere. Okay. I get eaten. Can you take your business elsewhere, please? Am I gonna die inside this thing? I don't want to leave and find my body. What a pointless way to go. This is a great visual we got here. I really am feeling like I'm experiencing a video game right now. And the game ends. That, my dear viewer, is one of Paper Lily's multiple endings that May hyped up. I will be very honest with you, I was heavily considering counting this as beating the game and calling it quits right here. I stayed committed though. I haven't even experienced any of this game's horror elements yet, and I wanted to see it through. I ended up at a central hub of sorts. There's a cool looking tree in an open field here with a bunch of different paths to choose from. Something that struck me as very peculiar was this game's soundtrack. The song playing in this area is very whimsical, but it still exudes an air of mystery to it. I've never really played a horror game with such delightful music outside of Amori, but that's because Amori is also half an actual RPG, so they can't have eerie violins screeching during the regular combat. Looking at the Steam page, Paper Lily is specifically described as a psychological horror, so I imagine it was just building up to something here, and the soundtrack was being used to usher me into a false sense of security just to catch me off guard later. And I think that's an incredible twist on the typical horror elements. If Paper Lily could follow through, I would be very impressed. Now, do you want to see an actual example of what this game considers to be horror instead of just my fantasy? There's someone there, grab their attention? Okay. Hello, little guy. Oh wow, this game is really getting into my head! Did you know this game also has RPG-esque encounters to it for some reason? Oh. Am I fighting the spikes? Oh, minigame. Hold on. Wait, this is the real gameplay happening. Yeah, this is really setting the mood. To progress past this area, you need to do a fetch quest. Again. You know when a game like Resident Evil asks you to grab 3 different medallions spread across a police department? It works because there's actual obstacles that stand in your way. You have to manage resources to deal with them, and their lurking presence makes the task much more tense. It's no longer just about walking from point A to B, it's about surviving the journey. In Paper Lily, you do nothing here but walk and solve a light puzzle. Exhilarating. Time for an actual scary section, woo! Let's see what this game is really made of. I have to walk through this forest shrouded in darkness while something is stalking me. If my heartbeat intensifies, that's the sign to hide in a bush until it passes by. Now we're talking. There's some actual tension here, the setting is ominous, the music matches the tone! It's almost like I'm playing a real horror game! Here's what the jump scare in this section looks like after leading you to a dead end. Redemption awaits us in the next area as we have a fishing minigame! Hell yeah, we're so back! This game is amazing now! More fish. Let me play more fishing, damn it. Wait, what? Did I tab out? What? I'm pressing the Z, it's not doing anything. Did I soft lock myself? From fishing? You soft lock from fishing in this game? I got soft locked on the fishing minigame. There's a goldfish in this area, and if you interact with it, you die, the end. These are the saddest excuses for alternate endings I've ever seen in my life. With the first ending I got, there's a sign telling you not to enter the circle. So fine, I can accept that my death there was on me. Curiosity killed the cat and all that. Here, this is just a bowl with a goldfish. No sign, no flavor text other than this just being a shrine. Nothing to indicate that this was something to be left alone. This is an illusionary choose your own adventure, where the options are go left or go right, except one of the paths just instantly kills you. I don't necessarily want to call it being punished since you don't actually lose any progress here, but for lack of a better term, why are you punished for interacting with random things? Paper Lily tries to spin it against you in some attempt at commentary, I guess. Oh my god, you killed the goldfish, you monster! Look at this world without goldfish that you created! Now you're a goldfish! And then the game makes you sacrifice a rabbit to a sea monster in the same fucking area. Speaking of which, fuck this puzzle. So here, you need to access a boat that's being gatekept by a sea monster. There's a sign here saying that the sea monster loves meat but hates water. All the rabbits in this area kept dying when I tried to approach them, so I figure I gotta splash some water on it instead. That doesn't work. But Lacey does say that maybe different water will do the trick. So I laser focus on that supposed clue and try to use every different body of water in the area I can find, only to no avail. I think, maybe you gotta fish for some meat since there is a functioning fishing minigame here after all. But no, you can only catch algae and the fishing mechanic is completely superfluous. I tried so hard not to rely on a guide for any and all of these games, but I'd been here for 20 minutes at this point and this game was starting to drain me. So I caved and I searched the answer up. Turns out one of the rabbits doesn't actually disappear and you can catch it to feed it to the monster, which lets you progress past the area. Look, I will concede that the puzzle here does make sense in hindsight, and I was probably just being too narrow-minded to realize it at the time. This rabbit not only doesn't dissolve like the others, it also moves slower than them, so it has some indication for it. But why are there so many red herrings in this one area? Finally moving on now, in the next area there's this door and there's some strange humanoid insects you talk to. There's a prison area just after that where you meet a guy. He tags along for a bit and I'm done. I'm done. This game just sucks. I have to wonder, does this developer understand what the fuck the word horror means? Even the most dogshit, unpolished, shovelware horror games usually understand the core principles of the genre. There's tension, there's build-up, they make you feel uneasy. The jump scares they implement are often cheap, purely relying on sudden loud noises that cut through the silence to shock you. It's not always good, but they can still be effective at times. Paper Lily has this cheery music even in what should be the most unsettling of locations. Even when it tries its hand at a more tense soundtrack, it feels like I'm a spy in a thriller movie sneaking into a museum, not the type of song for when I'm being haunted by unspeakable horrors. Speaking of unspeakable horrors, oh, I'm sorry, what horrors? These fucking things? That? If I silently drag the PNG of a Dead from Zelda across your screen and then quickly throw up a splash screen of blood, tell me in the comments below, did that scare you? Did it make you jump out of your seat? Is this the sort of psychological horror that's going to keep you up at night as you ponder the implications of what you just saw? Where's the atmosphere? Where's the suspense? Where's any semblance of a cohesive horror experience to be found at all? Animal Well, a game that isn't even credited as horror, had more discomforting moments that kept me on high alert than anything Paper Lily ever manages to accomplish. I felt more uneasy playing Big Boo's Haunt from Mario 64. There's stronger horror elements at play just from going mining in fucking Minecraft! There's something in this misguided mess that's salvageable. With this only being the first chapter of an incomplete package, the developers can absolutely make something good of this foundation going forward. But as it currently stands, Paper Lily is pathetic. I've never played a game that failed harder at what it's trying to do in my life. If there is one redeeming factor to this game, it is simply that this first chapter is completely free, so I didn't feel like I wasted my money with it, even if it absolutely wasted my time. How's the duck sim going?
We got some of the most legendary boxes of all time, some absolutely gorgeous artwork, and some very poorly drawn ones, but hey, at least we got all of these.
Almost done. I'm almost at the finish line. This streak of games was testing my motivation above all. It's got me thinking, why am I doing this? Well, I'm too deep to start questioning it now. 2 games to go. I could sure as hell use a pick-me-up right about now. I was praying for a miracle, and instead I got a harbinger of chaos. 10. This cold-blooded, soul-sucking, motherfucking number was the bane of my existence. And he's also my friend too, I guess. Almost everyone I invited to be a part of this video gave me a genuine game recommendation for games that they enjoyed, or at least thought I would enjoy. There were exceptions, but my point still stands overall. 10, on the other hand, was planning on forcing me through some slop the moment I brought him on board. Not to say I didn't see it coming. I would probably do the same to him after all. But really, man? Sonic 06? I don't even particularly care for the good Sonic games, and you want me to play this shit? I mean, as funny as it might have been, I don't really know how to emulate it, he didn't really know how to set it up either, so we mutually agreed to just shelve that one. Thankfully, he didn't have a backup troll game on speed dial, so I thought he'd have to resort to an actual video game. Because, next to Sam and Qual, 10 probably has the deepest lineup of played games out of my featured friends. Really varied as well. I will see this guy on 5 different games in the span of a day. A wholehearted recommendation from 10 has the potential to be a really great gaming experience. Oh. Well, alright then. To be honest, I don't think I've ever heard of...
Magician Penn Gillette. Penn, we're talking today about your work with various simulators.
This phone guy sucks. Alright, the phone guy peaked at FNAF, now they're just killing it. What are the chances that this is another fucking nothing game for 2 hours, and my friends just hate me? Oh no, this is the whole game. Oh no, there's nothing else. There's nothing else, it's just holding W down. I fucking hate you guys. I would have preferred Sonic 06 over this. What happens if I go off-road? Does it matter? The bus breaks down apparently. The fuck am I being... Is there a tow truck behind me?
Penn, we're talking today about your work with various simulators.
Thank God. Thank fucking God.
What happened?
This is my second to last game on the list now, so look at what this motherfucker's making me do for 2 hours.
Oh, Desert Boss!
He thinks he's being funny, he's like giggling in the background like, oh, I'm making him waste 2 hours of his time. Joke's on him. This will be way fucking easier to edit. And like the puzzles were annoying. It's the only game I played on this list where I got soft locked. The way that game works is you open it up and like you watch a duck in a pool for 2 hours.
That's it?
Yeah.
So with Asgore, until I saw that scene, I was thinking maybe he's a part of it, but like for the most part, he's in the dark about the greater scheme of it all. Like the ending for chapter 4 is just different, like flat out, because of what you did.
I just want to have a voice.
What are you
like,
playing?
What? Who? May?
Yes. This is it? That's crazy.
And, no, it gets worse, May. I can't just hold W. The like wheel alignment on this thing is off, so I have to constantly like tap A to also make sure I'm in the middle of the road.
Okay, I'll be honest, the roasting at first did not make any sense, but I did make the connection that it's a thorn and it's a rose. This new graphic, I don't understand what it's implying at all. Especially with like... No, but Carrot, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you do in this game, you just have to play it for 2 hours. You're not gonna make it to the end. You can drive off the fucking road if you want to.
Well, I'm curious to try it now, but I can fuck it, you know?
No.
It doesn't matter, you're not getting to the end anyway.
You stopped?
Yeah,
You can stop?
No, you can't stop. My fucking engine burnt out. That's what happens when you go off-road. Yeah, so, I don't know what this means, but it like... I think it just takes you back all the way. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I can't do anything in this part, so I'm technically still playing the game. Cool. Alright guys, we gotta really take in every detail of this bus here. We got the Bill B. What does this mean? Bill B.
Boss, bro.
Boss.
He's the boss. He's the boss.
That sounds like...
He's the boss. He's the boss.
The boss.
You guys been seeing that ad of the Dan Murphy's ad? Where
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, I know exactly where you're going with that. Where it's like, is your friend like a $20 mate or like a...
UTC actually, we got our first Wingstop in Sydney.
What the fuck is a Wingstop?
Dude, this shit's taking too fucking long.
I'm gonna make my own like Tung Tung Roblox game and put it on the Nintendo eShop. See how many people buy it.
Is Tung Tung a thing?
Yeah.
Never heard of this character.
Oh, you don't know then. Are you on Instagram much?
The sound of the reversing, I've been tuning it out for a while, but it's like...
Wait, this sound? Oh my god, I haven't even realized. I put it on mute. Do either of you know about like the smoke alarm dinosaur memes? Yeah, bro, they love the hawk too.
Oh, dude, Turkish bread is so fucking good. Of course I like Turkish bread.
Yeah, but that's just soft pizza crust.
Yeah, it's soft! That's the difference, man! It's soft! I don't feel like I'm eating a fucking desert! I got a fucking achievement. Oh no!
Oh.
No, I have to play the game again! No! They play it up too much. They're like, oh, this is the Titan. Like, even Relsi doesn't know what to do against it. I'm gonna go piss. I'll be back. I'm not even here for half of the video.
Cyan got stuck in purgatory. That's why they invented Garbage Bin, Nighttime Nightmare, and a mysterious figure.
Making you a proletariat.
We hit 2 hours! Well, here we are. The final game. To cap off the video, the last game will be presented by Ginny. With this being the finale and all that, this game is of course either going to be the worst thing I've ever had to sit through in my entire life, even worse than Desert Bus somehow, or the most breathtaking masterpiece I'll ever experience in under 2 hours. Okay, she actually almost gave me a weird ass boy love dating sim mobile gacha game? I don't even know what I'm looking at here. But ultimately, my final game recommendation was Blender. Is this even a game? No, but neither is the shitty duck screensaver or the god-awful bus torture device, so what the hell. My mission here was simple. In 2 hours, Ginny asked me to try my hand at modeling the classic Blender donut. Of course, I was allowed to follow tutorials. Shout out to Blender Guru on YouTube. Absolutely excellent series of tutorials if you're genuinely interested in learning Blender. And so, my crash course into modeling the greatest damn donut Ginny has ever seen has begun. While my journey of Blender plays in the background, it's time to really bring this whole video together as we finally draw closer to the end. What was the point of this video. The boring truth is that there is no real point to it. I needed an idea for a new video, Alice proposed this idea to me, and I just went with it. It seemed like a compelling concept at the time, and not much else. But now that we're at the end, I'm going to retroactively spin it into a cohesive narrative and pretend like I've had some grandiose vision for this video from the very start. Let's circle back to the question I proposed at the beginning of this video. Is 2 hours enough time to gauge interest in a game? At face value, the answer is a very resounding yes. My opinion on almost every game at the 30-minute mark compared to the 2-hour mark was largely unchanged. The reality, of course, is that it's not always as black and white as that. Obviously, there are always exceptions to this. Games differ so wildly in structure and scope that 2 hours could never possibly be a universal criterion of which you can judge whether every game is worth pursuing further. There are games that give you an unforgettable experience in 3 hours, while there are games that never amount to anything across 80. I know for me personally, I've played games that took quite a while until they really began to shine. The 2-hour baseline I imposed across every game is, ironically, kind of baseless in that regard. I only landed on that number to begin with because of the time restriction that Steam imposes for approving refunds. If that's the case, why the hell did I even make myself play through 2 hours of each game? If the idea of this video was just to try a bunch of my friends' games to see which ones I like, then I could have abandoned half of these in the first 15 minutes and made this whole ordeal a lot easier on myself. The conclusion I came to is that it was never really about just trying some of my friends' game recommendations for fun. And it was never really about testing some notion of there being a certain amount of time you need to play a game in order to gauge interest in it. That was purely just some food for thought. I think this video was always meant to be a challenge. Not in the same vein as something like playing Mario without jumping or Resident Evil with only explosives. What I mean is, this whole video has always been about challenging myself. All throughout my childhood, even leading into the middle of my teenage years, my game palette was very limited. I played Mario platformers, all sorts of Mario spin-offs, a bunch of LEGO games, the Wii Sports titles, and of course Minecraft. All the way up until the age of 17, that was pretty much the extent of what I would play. When you don't have disposable income, it's harder to justify dropping $80 on a game you won't know you enjoy, rather than just sticking to your lane. That's why I asked for Mario Party 10 for my birthday instead of Bloodborne. Even when I got a job in my mid-teens, I didn't want to risk that hard-earned cash on something I might not like. I had my priorities straight. I'll take 3 copies of Fortnite Battle Pass, please. When I finally saved up enough to get my hands on a Nintendo Switch in 2018, I of course picked up Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart, because I would throw myself off a cliff if Mario told me to, I'd do it. But on a complete whim, I also randomly decided to pick up Breath of the Wild that same day. Don't know what compelled me to, if I'm honest. I really didn't know anything about this game other than the vague memory of seeing the trailer for it in the Nintendo Switch presentation a year prior. I know Zelda is about as mainstream as you can get, but that should go to show just how sheltered I had become even up until the age of 16. I knew about Link from Smash Bros, and I borrowed my cousin's copy of Link Between Worlds, which I played and got bored of after an hour. It wasn't Mario after all. So I played Breath of the Wild. It was actually the first thing I tried on my Switch. And you know when YouTubers, or even just people in general, claim that a video game, or TV show, or just some form of media in general changed their life? It always sounds so damn hyperbole to me. But looking at my life now, maybe it isn't that crazy to say that Breath of the Wild really did kind of change my life. It's a bit of a butterfly effect. This game was such a monumental achievement that utterly blew me away. Like, I really can't stress enough how much of a system shock it was to go from my heavily curated game palette to something like this. I got lost in this game for hours. So much of it still sticks out in my mind. If this is what video games could be, what else was I missing out on all these years? This game got me to broaden my horizons. It broke a hole clean through my closed-off mind. From that point onward, I slowly began to try more and more games. I started with a lot of mainstream stuff I had previously discounted and found a new love for so many amazing franchises. I gave genres I frankly thought would never interest me a try, and sure, Xenoblade 2 was probably a bad start for big RPGs, but a game in that genre is now consistently at my top 10 for each year. It's more than just these new gaming experiences though. I want to say that if not for me expanding my interest in gaming as a whole, I might not have met some of the friends I mentioned throughout this video. These people, who are such a core part of my life now, who I seriously couldn't fathom my life without. I met them all through my love for video games. Both the friends that I've come to know over the past 6 years and the new games that I continuously play through and together with these friends are what shaped my life today. That's what it really comes back around to. Ever since Breath of the Wild, I constantly crave new breathtaking experiences, and just new gaming experiences in general. I obviously don't expect every game I play to be a masterpiece, but I'm always really interested in trying new games regardless, in that pursuit of an experience that blows me away and leaves me speechless. My taste in games has come a long way since my teenage years. Even so, I want to continue trying new things. I don't ever want to fall into that complacency again. Thus, I continue to force myself out of my comfort zone. And what better way to do that than by turning to some of my closest friends who share this hobby of mine and letting them recommend a game for me. So I'll let them choose something for me and force myself to play it for 2 hours. Both because it makes for good content, and this is primarily a video after all, I won't deny that, but also because I'm still admittedly very quick to discount something too early on. I've dropped shit as early as 30 minutes in. Being forced to stick with a new game made it so that I was at least giving my friends' recommendations a fair shot. As you've seen, not everything ended up being a winner here. Not everything was intended to be a winner either. Clearly some of my friends understood the assignment of this being primarily for entertainment purposes and took advantage of that. I don't blame them whatsoever. It made for some fun content in the end. But I'll always appreciate the games my friends recommend me, even if I don't always get around to them for a good while. Because you know, some of the greatest video games I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing were via a recommendation from one of these guys. Alice expedited my interest in Neon White. Sam helped convince me to give Xenoblade Chronicles a chance despite my distaste for 2. May has introduced me to a bunch of new series as of late. Evan ignited my addiction to Balatro. Nezo in particular has had an insane streak of incredible game shouts, but I'll single out him giving me Pizza Tower. The same can be said with Ginny, but above all, she showed me Until Then. With video games being such an important part of my life, I can't see myself giving them up anytime soon. I have so many incredible memories with the games that I've played and the friends that I've played them with, so thank you. To all my closest friends in and out of this video, for sharing it all with me. I'll never stop playing new games. There have been so many I've played over the years that have been truly unforgettable. That emptiness that swallows you when you hit credits on them is a feeling I live for, and I would have never gotten to bask in it over and over if it wasn't for the time that I took a chance on something unfamiliar. Because to catch that life-changing experience I keep chasing after, I have to be willing to change myself. You ready?
Yep.
Alright, here it is.
Oh my god!
Anyway, here's the actual donut I made. Pretty cool, huh? Would I ever use Blender for modeling in the future? No, but I could definitely see myself learning to like animate with it if I ever had the time and motivation. Okay, thanks for watching, that's all. Subscribe maybe as a treat. No, but seriously, you guys should play Until Then. Fuck you, Milo.